probably rewound that intro or pause for a second, wondering if this is even the right video. Or maybe you almost kept scrolling. And now you're noticing that you're noticing it. Yeah, hi, this one's for you. Most people think overthinking is just worrying too much, like it's a nervous habit, something small. Except instead of biting your nails, you're replaying every conversation you've had in the last decade. But that explanation doesn't really capture what's happening because what's going on in your mind isn't random and it's not simple. And once you actually understand it, there's a good chance you'll feel something different, like someone finally understands how it feels from the inside. Your brain has a system called the default mode network. It activates the moment your attention turns inward. When you replay the past, imagine the future, analyze social situations. It's responsible for introspection. Now, in people who overthink, that system doesn't just turn on, it stays on, loud, constant, relentless. But the more important question isn't which system is active, it's why it doesn't switch off and what it's trying to do for you. Because your brain isn't broken, it's doing something very intentional. There's a difference between reflection and rumination. Reflection moves you forward, rumination loops. You revisit the same thought over and over, changing small details, but never actually reaching a conclusion. It feels like problem solving, but it isn't. You're not resolving the issue, you're rehearsing it. And the more you stay in that loop, the stronger the emotion becomes. It doesn't release the feeling, it preserves it. And here's the frustrating part: the reason you keep thinking is because some part of you believes that if you just think long enough, you'll eventually find the answer that makes everything feel okay. But that moment rarely comes. Still, you try again, usually late at night. For a lot of people, this didn't start randomly. It started early, in environments where uncertainty mattered, where you had to read people carefully, pay attention to tone, anticipate reactions. Your brain learns something important. Thinking ahead keeps you safe, and at the time, it did. The problem is, you're still using that same strategy in situations that don't require it anymore. A text message, a facial expression, a slightly unclear response, and suddenly you're building a full narrative around it because your brain doesn't clearly separate real danger from perceived social risk. The response is the same. There's also a specific kind of overthinking that focuses almost entirely on other people, how they feel, what they think, how they see you. You replay conversations, looking for the moment something could have gone wrong. You rewrite messages, not because you don't know what to say, but because you're trying to account for every possible way it could be received. That's not randomness. That's empathy, just without an off switch. Think about something simple: canceling plans. A typical message gets written and sent in a few seconds. But for you, you open the message, write it, read it back, wonder if a word sounds wrong, rewrite it, stare at the word reschedule, question whether it sounds too presumptuous, write two or three completely different versions, send one to a friend just to check. And then, somewhere around the 10 to 20-minute mark, you send something almost identical to what you wrote at the very beginning, and then immediately read it again, trying to figure out if it landed the right way. The hardest part is this: that same awareness of other people usually means you're the last person to treat yourself with that same understanding. You'll spend half an hour convincing someone that they're not a burden, and then lie awake later, convincing yourself that you are. Same mind, different rules. There's also something else happening. Psychologist Daniel Wegner demonstrated it in what became known as the white bear experiment. He told people not to think about a white bear. They managed it barely. But the moment they stopped trying to suppress the thought, it came back stronger than if they had never tried to push it away at all, which means every time you've told yourself, just stop overthinking, Every time someone has said, just don't worry about it, you were actually making it more likely for the thoughts to return even stronger. It's ironic and also not really your fault. Something interesting though, people who overthink usually don't struggle with everything. You can make quick decisions about things that don't matter much: what to eat, what to watch. That part is easy. But when it comes to things that matter, relationships, important choices, how you're perceived, everything slows down. And that tells you something important. This isn't random noise. Your thoughts are mapping directly to what you care about, what you're afraid of losing, who you love, and who you want to be seen as. Your anxiety knows what matters to you. It just communicates it in the worst possible way. There's also a pattern with rest. It's not that you don't enjoy it, but stillness removes the one thing that keeps everything manageable: distraction. The moment you sit down, or try to sleep, or stop filling the silence, everything you've been holding back starts showing up at once, so you stay busy, because that's the only way you've learned to turn the volume down. And over time, it becomes harder to just be somewhere without feeling the need to escape it. Understanding all of this doesn't suddenly make it stop, and it's not supposed to. Awareness is just where things begin. Instead of asking, how do I get rid of this? Try asking something different. What is this thought trying to protect me from? And is that threat actually still here? Most of the time, it isn't. The situation your brain is reacting to may have disappeared years ago. What's left is a habit that became very good at repeating itself. The goal isn't a perfectly quiet mind. That usually just adds more frustration. The goal is something more realistic, a more honest relationship with your thoughts. To notice the spiral, and instead of getting pulled into it, say, I see what you're doing. I understand why. And I get to decide how much space you take. That shift isn't small. It's most of the work. If this resonated with you, subscribe, leave a like, and share your thoughts in the comments.